And when we talk about communication, we talk about a couple different things. We talk about how to interact with people, right? So how we actually behave around people. And we also talk about how other people behave around us. And that's it's a fairly normal thing, right? We always, when we leave the house every day, normally we wonder, well, how are we going to be today? You know, what is it that I'm going to do? And what image do I want to bring across to people? How do I want to show who I am? And there's also the aspect of, well, how are people going to receive what I'm going to say? How are people going to receive who I am? And this, I think, is one of the biggest things for people when it comes to communication is, well, when I do communicate, how is that going to be received? How is that going to be taken? And most people think that that's the greatest aspect of communication is how people are going to be responding to what we say. But there's actually a third component to how we communicate, and that is how it is that we communicate with ourselves. What is it that makes who we are possible to communicate with other people? I mean, think about it. We're all human. You know, we all have ears and noses. We all smile and laugh at just about the same things. We all consider ourselves to be good people. At least I hope so. And we all consider ourselves to be at least fairly similar, and we all deserve the basic amount of respect, in the least. Now, when it comes down to how we see ourselves, many people, they don't take the time to take a look at the kind of things that we actually say to ourselves. But believe it or not, we actually say approximately 50,000 things to ourselves every single day. And when we do that, what ends up happening is, well, what is it that we're saying? How do we communicate with ourselves, and what is it that we're actually saying to ourselves that allows us to either feel good about ourselves, feel bad about ourselves, or just in general have other people notice who we are? Because we are all who we are, and that doesn't change, because all we are is change. We're all just human. So with that in mind, I'd like for you to just look around the room and see that. See that we're just all human beings, and take a look at everybody, and you'll have a chance to meet in a moment. Most of what you're going to learn here today is going to be experiential. So, I mean, think about it. When you were a toddler, when you were just learning how to walk, did you need to take notes to know how to do that?
No, of course not. But we were toddlers, right, at the time?
No, that's right. I know.
That's right.
Our brains aren't so good at that. Okay? But if there are important things that we should know, because you're right, I don't want to be concentrating on taking notes. That's
the important things, absolutely, that you're going to be learning will be on here. And these I will actually ask you to take down.
Perfect. So I can leave this here for now and not have to worry.
Absolutely. There won't be too much for you to take note of, but there will be whatever I write here, which is, so you can write this down if you want. But after that, this is going to be all hands-on. So you're going to be learning a lot of things that involve communicating. And communicating, yes, you can do it on paper, but most people communicate either face-to-face or on the phone or via email. And today we're going to be focusing on the kind of communication that we do face-to-face. So I know that there's a lot of things to learn, and that just like when you were learning how to walk, the anticipation of being able to not just stand up, but to be able to reach a certain goal, to achieve what it is that you're trying to do. When you are a toddler and you're trying to learn how to walk, you're going to start with crawling, right? You're going to make your way forward, maybe stumble a few times before you find your way to your feet. But just before you take your first step, you may notice that it's a little bit difficult to get your foot on the ground, and you will stumble. And when you stumble, of course, as a toddler, what do? Maybe you'll cry, but chances are you will hardly even notice. So that all you can think of is, well, how can I do it better the next time? And of course, that next time comes with that very next step. As you stand up and try again. Eventually, maybe you'll be able to make a step or two. And still you will stumble. Because, let's face it, you've never really walked before. And yet you've seen others doing it. You know that there are those around you, everybody around you, who walks. So it must be easy if everyone else can do it. You must be born to do it. Because if you're human, and everyone else is human, and they're walking, how easy it must be. If you only just stand up again and walk. In the immortal words of Master Yoda from Star Wars, do or do not. There is no try. Because one of the fundamental psychological principles of how we actually do things is that when we think about trying is something that implies failure. And it means that when you try to do something, you give yourself sort of like an escape, an opportunity to say, if you fail, well, at least I tried, and then sort of leave it be. So I invite you to consider that the things that we're going to be doing here today are going to be things that you might stumble on a few times. And yet, even though you do stumble, the important thing is to get back up and try again, because this is going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of things that you're going to learn here, and most of it is going to be things that you already know. Most of it is going to be fairly easy, actually. Simple and straightforward. Because we're all human, and we've been at this job for years. The job of being a person. The amount of experiences we've all had make it so that when you are communicating with others, you're using all the things that make somebody an excellent communicator already. You're already using all the things that allow you to become great. There are simple tools and techniques that make people, top CEOs, the Mahatma Gandhis of the world, the Nelson Mandelas, top salespeople. All these people, they're just human beings. They're just like us. So that when we learn how to use these principles, there is the possibility, should you choose to accept it, of doing something great, if that's what you have in mind. Or maybe you just want to get a raise or be able to lead a team. Maybe you just want to build stronger relationships with people or change your lifestyle. Maybe change your friends. Or improve the relationships that you have with the people you already spend time with. All of this is possible. All of it's easy.